Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So Nintendo just dropped some news about their next console, which everyone's calling the Switch 2. Exciting, right? But something was really interesting about the announcement, or maybe what wasn't announced. They were super brief and didn't really give us any of the nitty-gritty details. No price, no release date, and barely even any games beyond a little Mario Kart tease. Now the name Switch 2 inches definitely makes it sound like it's going to be a more powerful version of the original Switch, which makes sense. But when it came to talking about how it's going to be better, the chips inside, the screen quality, Nintendo was surprisingly quiet. And honestly, the article we're diving into today argues that they're absolutely right to do that. See, it wasn't always like this for Nintendo. Back in the day, they were right there in the thick of the tech race, just like everyone else. Remember the Super Nintendo being advertised as more powerful than the NES? Or the Nintendo 64, literally named after its processor? Horsepower used to be a big selling point. But things started to shift around the time of the GameCube. Nintendo noticed their console sales were starting to dip, and the competition was getting fierce with the rise of Sony and Microsoft. Trying to outmuscle them technologically just didn't seem like the best strategy anymore. And that's when Nintendo did something really clever with the Wii. People even joked that it was just two GameCubes taped together because it wasn't a huge leap forward in terms of graphics or processing power compared to the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 3. While those consoles were showing off super realistic graphics in games like Halo and MotorStorm, the Wii was all about Wii Sports, where the characters looked a bit like armless eggs. But guess what? Wii Sports, which came bundled with the console almost everywhere, became one of the best-selling games ever. And it wasn't because of how amazing it looked, but because of how fun and intuitive it was to play with its motion controls. This was all part of what Nintendo called their Blue Ocean strategy. Basically, they realized that all the super advanced technology in games was actually turning some people off. Remember how simple it was to just run and jump in the original Super Mario Bros. Suddenly, game controllers were getting super complicated, and it could be overwhelming for new players. Nintendo's idea was to step away from the tech arms race and find a way to bring in a whole new audience. With the Wii, they focused on a good enough level of tech to run modern games, but the real magic was in the motion controller, which made gaming accessible to everyone. They did the same thing with the Nintendo DS, the handheld with the touchscreen, way before smartphones were everywhere. Both the Wii and the DS were massive hits, selling way more than their more technically powerful competitors. It proved that for most people, fancy specs aren't the main thing they care about. Sorry PS Vita fans. Now Nintendo did have a bit of a stumble with the Wii U, which was trying to blend home and portable gaming a bit too early. But they learned from that. And the Switch is the ultimate example of this new philosophy. It's basically a tablet that you can also plug into your TV, and even though it's not the most powerful console out there compared to the latest PlayStations and Xboxes, it's been a massive success. It's on track to be Nintendo's best-selling console ever, maybe even beating the PlayStation 2. The key to the Switch's success isn't its technical power, but the simple idea that you can take your games anywhere. This also allows Nintendo to focus on making lots of different kinds of games without getting bogged down in the super expensive world of hyper-realistic graphics that its competitors are dealing with. So when Nintendo announced the Switch 2 without mentioning any specs, it wasn't an oversight. It's because that's not their main focus anymore. Whatever powers the new console will likely be good enough for the next big Zelda adventure, but the exact details aren't the most important thing right now. What matters is that it'll likely offer that same great Switch experience, just even better. You don't need a list of technical terms to understand that. Ultimately, Nintendo has found its own path in the gaming world by focusing on fun, innovation, and creating unique experiences rather than just chasing the latest technology. And judging by their continued success, it seems like they've got it figured out. Alright everyone, that's a quick breakdown of why Nintendo is doing things a little differently. What do you think about their approach? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Video ends with